Hey everybody, Mike Steele here with BBQ Champs Academy live show. We got a stacked lineup for you tonight. We've got some great cooks on here. We've got my co-host that's going to be with us. We're going to bring him in here in just a minute, Mr. John Lindsey, with all queued up. And he does a great job, him and Ronald Burns on the Arkansas Smoke Live. They had a great show last night, and he's going to be a co-host with me tonight. We've also got a good friend of mine in the barbecue world, Mr. Allan Freeman, Chickamacao, as we like to say. And he is with us also. He is the number 6 IBCA Points Chase leader right now. And also we've got Rick Manzi. Rick has just been doing absolutely amazing. And also got Rolfe Garrett as well. He has been on absolute fire, knocking out a lot of first place calls here lately. So I just felt like this was a great time. We're going to bring a little barbecue and a little steak to the arena tonight. We may start mixing this up quite a bit doing that. So as you get ready to come in, let us know. We'll certainly go in and acknowledge that you're here. Got a few folks already joining us. We've got Carly on here. Hey, Carly, great to have you here with us tonight. We got Mr. Bob, Papa Joe Hutto, Papa Joe Grilling Supply in Hutto, Texas. Got Chuck and Vanessa. Always great to have them. I'm going to have to get you guys on here next. I know y'all was on John's show here a couple weeks ago. And we're certainly wanting to get you guys on here as well. Got Mr. Brandon on here. Good to have you here. Got Carl here. Mr. Big Jim Hudgens with us tonight. Thank you for being here. Oh, looky there. We got Vivian Allen. Vivian says hi. So glad to have Vivi with us. Also, Mr. Jason Sagmiller. Great to have you here, buddy. I don't know if I've seen you on our show before, but glad to have you here tonight. Alan has a tendency of bringing people out. So Mr. John's with us from Madison, Wisconsin. Look at there, Mr. Steve, the cookout coach, DQ'd Barbecue. He just posted earlier today. He is now the #1 rib cook in the KCBS backyard division. Steve has just been an outstanding spokesperson for us. He took Corey Mike's classes last year. He did about a 5 or 6 minute video, just a documentary of how he did last year. And he did incredibly well last year, and he has picked it up right off this year doing the same. So, man, I tell you what, Steve, congratulations on what you've done. Looky here, man, I'm telling you what, Michelle, wow, did you show out this past weekend or what? Wasn't it a first and a second? Grand champion, man, you are killing it. I know James was probably pretty nervous. I know that he brought Erica for standby, so I couldn't help but give him a hard time. And when I saw how well y'all both did, for you to Grand and James to reserve, may have been Erica, I'm not sure. But anyway, congratulations. You have been on absolute fire. Emmeline, thank you for being here. Let's see who else we got. Got quite a few folks just steadily pouring in here. Man alive, I'm never going to get through all of these. All right, let's see. We got Lucas from the land down under. Glad you're with us, Mr. Aaron Leslie. Certainly glad to have you here. I think you had a pretty good weekend this weekend. And Aaron, we're going to have to get you on the show, man. You have been doing a lot of travel. And I want to talk to you about that restaurant that you've opened up as well. So I'll be reaching out to you here pretty soon, Aaron. Love to get you on the show as well. We got Miss Mary with us. Mark is with us. There's the champ herself, Miss Marissa. Let's see. Roger's with us. Glad to have you here. Mr. Terry Roan, another 2018 SCA World Champ. Caitlin Crane is with us. Miss Susan is with us. Rick, I tell you what, man, you've got a lovely wife. She was so sweet. I really did get to enjoy meeting both of y'all at the World Championship. We got Mr. Jamie is with us. Miss Erica, congratulations once again. And I see, looky here, James, congratulations, man. I don't know who did the cooking. I don't know if it was you or Erica. I'm sure it was probably you with Erica directing, but we'll find more out about that at Merval this weekend. But congratulations on your reserve grand champion. You went up against a tough competitor. I tell you what, Michelle has just been on absolute fire. And when I saw what you posted, I think you had like a second, third or something. I was like, man, he didn't win grand with that. And it's like, who beat him? And well, I didn't even think about, got all about Michelle, no, she's going to come rolling out and show off. So anyway, congratulations. Outstanding job for you and what you've done in the Points Chase this year, and Michelle and Alan as well. So got Mr. Bill Manning. Glad to have you here. Got Rodney on here as well. Got Mr. Ron on here. Glad to have you here from Delaware. Got Mark on here. Let's see. Raz. Hey, buddy. We're going to be reaching out to you as well. I'd love to get you on the show. You are definitely on my list, high up on the list. You have been absolutely killing it, and congratulations what you've been doing in the steak arena as well. Allan is with us. Scott, always here. Better late than never, man. You're always one of our first ones. So, man alive, we got folks just pouring in faster than I can even get to them. Juke is with us. Larry is with us. Bob is with us. Ronald Burns, Mr. Hotty Toddy himself. Glad to have you here. And Bo, good job, man. I know you've been just steadily just getting consistent calls. So just keep it up. That's what it takes, man. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of practice. So let's see, Eric. It sure was amazing to meet Michelle. So awesome. Yep, I tell you what, it's been a lot of fun having you girls on here last week. I really do appreciate you being part of our show. So got Lindsey on here. Craiglin McKee, glad to have you here. David, I'll tell you what, we really do appreciate everybody being here. And we got a lot of folks steadily coming in. Come on in, let us know that you're here. We got Danny with us, got Chance with us. But we're not going to take up too much of y'all's time. We got some guests sitting here we're going to definitely bring in. First, before we get started, I just want to make a real quick announcement. All of our partners that we have, we could not do these shows without them. They're so supportive of Barbecue Champs Academy. Danny Helms at Be Extreme Barbecue, thank you for what you have done for us and the support that you've given us from day one. B&B Charcoal, absolutely love their charcoal. I cook on their lump hickory in my competition. Absolutely love it. And I know they've been having a little trouble keeping up with the demand, but hopefully as the new company takes over and maybe they can ramp up production, hopefully that'll get better. Mr. Brian Crawford at Lone Star Barbecue Pro Shop and his Crawford Barbecue Pit products. Really do appreciate Brian. He's got a great store. And if you're looking for products to get, no matter who it is, we got Lone Star on here. If that's your favorite, you can get it. If you're like me, you probably shop around 2 or 3 of them. Another great one we have is Papa Joe Grilling Supplies in Hutto, Texas. Chuck and Vanessa's got a store full of product, and we can't wait to get them on here as well. So another great place to get your supplies. David at Gunter Wilheim Knives, absolutely some of the best knives that I've ever used. If y'all are looking for a new knife to get or a series of knives to get, you might certainly want to take a look at these Gunter Wilheims. They're absolutely amazing. We've also got Tapacu. They're working on a new dual sensor temp probe for the SEA. So we're hoping that she'll have that here. I know that was something that she was working on, and maybe here in another month or so she'll have it. Also, last but not least, we don't want to forget the barbecue store, Mr. Dustin Stanley. Appreciate Dustin so much. He does so much for us as well. Got some great products on his store and really, really, really fast shipping as well, especially with UPS being literally in the building with him, so he can get stuff out at the last minute. So without further ado, I first want to bring in my co-host tonight to join us, the champ himself, Mr. John Lindsey, all queued up and co-host of the Arcus Hippie Smoke Live show on Monday nights at 7:30. Glad to have you here, John.
Man, I am glad to be here. Man, we got a great lineup tonight, and now, Mike, you'll have to carry me a little bit. I'm used to Ronald Burns carrying me a little bit during our show, and it's always good to be hosting a show or co-hosting a show with one of the best SCA cooks and best barbecue cooks in the world, Mr. Hotty Toddy himself. Yep. But you're not shabby either, and I'm glad to be on here with you tonight, my friend. And we got a great lineup. Rick Manzi, Allan, and Rolfe Garrett. It's going to be a great time.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be great, and I'm excited. I can't wait.
Oh yeah,
Got Mr. David Darnell. David is with us. Glad to have him. And I see somebody here. Manny is all. I see Aloha, guys. Could this be all the way from Hawaii? Let's see.
Wow.
We're reaching Hawaii. We're reaching Australia. I'm telling you right now, we reach very far with our show, so it's really good. Well, I tell you what, John, I know you had a really big weekend this past weekend up in Searcy, Arkansas. Grand champion the overall event. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And that's my 3rd time grand champion in that event. Been there 3 times. And, the real success of that event is what it stands for. That event is to support the Jesse Dillon James Foundation. And Jesse Dillon James was a young man that was a teenager that took his own life due to teenage bullying, social media bullying, and they have a foundation that supports others that are going through some of the same struggles Jesse did. And so, win, lose, or draw, we're going to be there to support that family. We love them. Candace Rogers and Carol Burtison was the SCA reps, and anywhere they go, they bring a spirit of camaraderie and fellowship, and we had that at that contest. And it's just one of my favorite ones. And if I was going to be able to win one, that's the one I'd want to win right there. And so I've got 3 of the grand champion plaques. I was excited. And I knew coming in it was going to be a real long shot, but I worked real hard at it. Hottie toddy seasoning, all queued up seasoning, a little big Jim Hudgens and Wilsonshire thrown in there for good measure. And, taste scores took care of themselves. And all I had to do is just kind of hit my marks. And it was one of the times that I was able to do that and was really excited about it. I really was.
Good. That's good. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I know that one meant a lot to you. There's certain competitions we have, like this big trophy back here. I love that trophy right there. That's the one in Marksville, and that was a lifelong dream when I started cooking to win Marksville. It's a tough competition to win. It's always serious competition there. I won it in 2018. Man, I was so overwhelmed, could not believe it, and then come back and won it again last year. Took a dive in the pool in the middle of the wintertime. Jason Sagmiller was right there. He came over there. Yeah! And I was like, man, I was stoked. So,
I remember that when I remember seeing the video.
That was good right there. Well, yep, there's Jason in the pool. And he was the first one. He's like, finally, somebody coming over there showing some excitement. I was like, man, if you can't get excited about winning, something's wrong. So
the honest truth about this one this weekend, and I won't dwell here, but I do want to say this. I got out there. It was hot for sure, but I had Bob Gonzalez over there. He's on here tonight. He did a big seafood cook for the SCA folks right there under my tent. Looked over there. There's my great friend Bob Gonzalez. Brandon Caitlin Crane set up right next to me. Brent Howard. Right down the hill over here is Chris Barber, Marty Plute, Ronald Burns, Mr. Hart, his whole family. You'd leave people like Jim Hudgens is here. And I'm thinking, when a guy's got friends like that, when you have a time to be able to at least get out and enjoy something like that, you've already won no matter what you turn out. And so we were having a ball and had a great time. Now, it was hot. But you know what? We got a lot to be thankful for. So we were excited just to be there cooking, my friend.
That's right. 100%. I mean, 100%. Yep. Well, I tell you what, let's do. Let's bring in some of our guests. I'm going to first bring in a very good friend of mine, Mr. Allan Freeman with Chickamacao. I always asked him, how do you say that, Allan? He said, remember Ferris Bueller Day Off? He said, I forgot what it was, but it was something chick-cha-cha, he said Chickamacao. So, Allan, buddy, how does it go?
Well, I heard that Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller, that was.
And then all of a sudden, I got told Johnny Dunn.
Chickamacao.
And from that point on, Chickamacao was born.
That was it. I tell you right now. Well, Allan, I tell you what, buddy, you have definitely been a staple in the IBCA. You are such a good friend, you and your lovely wife, Vivian. We have just such a great time cooking with you. Suzette was like, Vivian said we could go shopping. Are you sure we don't want to go to Willis Point? And I was like, no, I'm going to Mendon. It's 40 miles from the house. So, but we definitely missed you. And I know you have just been having a banner year this year. You got, I think, your first top 10 ever points finish last year. I know that was a bucket list for you. Is that correct?
Wow.
No.
Was that your second?
The third year.
Oh, this is the third year. Okay. This is your third year.
List, and then we weren't going to do it anymore. We found ourselves here.
Right.
So then you have to fight for it right at the end. It's kind of like NASCAR. Right at the end.
Yep.
You're in that position. It is a race for the chase.
It is, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, let's bring in our second guest. And I know we got Rick Manzi. He's on. We're going to go ahead and bring him up. I see he's ready to go live. The man himself right there, Mr. Rick Manzi. Now, Rick hey, how are you doing, buddy? I tell you what, it's certainly great to have you on the show tonight.
Nice hat, Rick.
Yeah, I see he's got a good cap. But great to have you here, Rick. I got a chance to meet you and your lovely wife, Susan, and at the Fort Worth competition over there at the World Finals. and World Championship. And I tell you what, just could not find two nicer people. And I really do appreciate you. And we're going to get into a little bit about what you have done in your journey. But I want to go on and bring in one more. And this guy has been on absolute fire in the SCA. And that's Mr. Rolfe Garrett. Rolfe, glad to have you here with us.
Good evening, guys.
Hello, Rolfe.
And you have just been on absolute fire. I've been following all my state guys and a lot of the barbecue guys, kind of seeing how they do. And I just like, okay, who do I need to start with? Because, man, the list is about a mile long for the steak cookers. And I've reached out to Steve Conway. He couldn't be here tonight, so I've got Rick. Steve. I want to get Raz on. I've got so many people I'm trying to get to. So y'all just have to be a little patient with me. We'll slowly get there one by one. So
Mike, last year there was a little bit of a move on for the SCA points race. It had been a certain way for a long time. Of course, me and Ronald, we got to really noticing these East Coast guys just knocking it out of the park up there. You got Rick Manzi, you got Rolfe, and even Rodney Rolfe, he was hitting it pretty good. Rob and all of them, was just doing great. And they didn't have a lot of contests they could go cook to rack up points like we did down here in the South.
Right.
And, SCA addressed that. And, man, now we're on the scale of the average points. Mm-hmm. And you're going to start seeing some numbers racked up by these guys like Rick Manzi and Rolfe Garrett and Rodney and Robin and all the great, don't want to leave any of them out because they're all great. But anyway, right. Some of the best cookers in the world are on this screen with you right now for the SCA. And you know what Allan does in the IBCA. So it's going to be a great show. But it's my honor to be on here with you guys. I want you to know that tonight.
Well, I tell you what, I absolutely appreciate it. And I think you're right. We got some of the great ones on here. So I'll tell you what, let me start off with a steak cooker, and then I'll go to a barbecue cooker, and then we'll roll back over to a steak cooker. So I've got a double over here. Let me see if I can let me remove that one. Rolfe, you there? Don't have audio, Rolfe. We can't hear you. You there, Rolfe?
He may have to go out and back in.
Kick out, Rolfe. Log out and kick back in. We don't hear you. So,
Mike, whatever you do not make two Rolfe Garretts. That's two Rolfe Garretts I have to compete against. Please don't do that to me.
Yeah, I know it. Rolfe, you can hear us, but we're not hearing you. So log out and come back in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get over here and we're going to bring in. We're going to go ahead and bring in Mr. Rick. Mr. Rick, tell me a little bit about yourself, buddy. I know you have been absolutely tearing it up. You was kind of telling me a little bit about your journey. So tell me a little bit about Rick Manzi. Tell me a little bit about how you got started, what's your background, barbecue, steak, whatever, and how long you been cooking?
Well, actually, Mike, KCBS, it started a couple years ago. I told a story. My wife, Sue, bought me a green egg for Father's Day. My food was god-awful. She said, hon, if your food's going to be that bad, you better take a class. So at the time, locally, I took Dan Hickson's class, the Three Eyes Barbecue. For those who may know Dan Hickson, he was on Pitmaster Season 2. He was Team of the Year 2012. So I took his class, and then one day I built up enough confidence to call him up to say, hey, do you need someone to run your boxes, clean your smokers? And at the time, his partner at the time had some issues, so he backed out, and I became part of Three Eyes Barbecue. And so I had that journey for a couple years, and of course, I still had to compete against Rock and Robin's championship team with Rolfe, Robin, and Rodney and Barbecue. Great people. So I did that for a couple of years, and then Dan looked to retire. So, I looked at Sue, and I said, hey, we love this KCBS thing after a couple of years of doing it. So I was in a business meeting in Orlando, and I actually bought a J3 Jambo while I was walking through the airport.
Wow!
Because I always wanted one, and of course my wife's so supportive. She's like, "Hon, you know what? You had the competitor, the backwood smokers." She says, "If that's what you want, let's make a run at it." So at the time I purchased it, and lo and behold, Mike, you had Corey Mikes. I don't know if Corey's on here, but of course he's got a J3 Jambo cooking out of Texas. And what I will say to you is, Corey's class was really second to none to detail. And for me, the transition, you cook your smaller meats low and slow on one competitor and hot and fast, the big meats on the other. It was really about the detail that Corey put into that class, and really where to place your meats as your briskets. I don't want to give this class away, but
right.
Where to place your meats, but the detail he put in that really was second to none. So I was very, very fortunate that you offered that. So, and then certainly I was always intrigued with drums, so I took Sterling Smith's all access class. Again, a bang up class, great job, a lot of detail. So I'm all geared up, we're ready to go. Here I am with my wife. Boom, COVID hits, as we all know what happened in 2020.
Right.
But we did manage last July 26th to do Spring Grove, Pennsylvania with 60 competitors. So I was fortunate enough to get basically 3 top 10 calls. We got a 4th place rib, we got a 10th place pork, and actually tied for brisket, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And Sue and I finished 8th overall. So we finished in the top 10. And really, when you look at some of the teams of, Childs with Wolf's Revenge, you look at Luke Donnell, Old Virginia Smoke, you look at Urkel with Uncle Pigs, there's some fierce competitors. So that was great. But that night, they actually had an SCA event, and I was fortunate enough to come in 6th place. So the remainder of the season, obviously, a lot of the barbecue competitions were canceled. So I said to Sue, let's try this thing called SCA. So we registered for about 10 comps last year, and I was fortunate enough to finish basically 50% of the comps in the top 10. Again, I took Alan Newton's class, just a gentleman. It was great meeting him at the World Championship and talking to him for a half hour during awards. Then I took Terry Roan's class, it was great meeting Terry at the Worlds, and just a gentleman and just a incredible individual. And then lo and behold, I switched to the PK 360 because the regular PK grill would get away from me a little bit. So John Lindsey came up with his class, so I took John Lindsey's class. And then from there, I also took Matt Overson's class. I took Will's class. And then most recently, I did take Marissa's class. I didn't look a lot into it. And not only is she the champ, and I'm super proud of her, she's the only autograph I didn't get at the World Championship, so I will get one next year. But I just bought a M16. So her class, I'm looking for that to really help me through the M16. And for this year, out of the 18 or 19 comps that I did compete in, basically I finished in the top 10 in half of them. I got 1 first, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, a 4th, a 5th, 2 6. And really, Mike, it really wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the great barbecue, pit masters that you have and grill masters that you have, and really that you provide this platform. Because I tell you what, in Rolfe, he's a friend, he's a mentor, he's a top-notch individual. Robin, same thing. Rodney, we competed last Friday night. When you really go up against incredible talent, the biggest thing this year, and I said on John's show, number 1 is to have fun. And SCA, Stu and myself are doing that. SCA family is second to none, the fun we have. The second thing was capturing a golden ticket early, which we were fortunate enough in April to get a golden ticket. And then really it was to be consistent and try to be the most consistent cook that I could. And once again, your classes, I build a fundamental foundation with all your classes, and I go off of John Lindsey because at the time I had the 360, he did. But really, once you build that good fundamental foundation, take a judge's class, take additional classes once you develop your own style, and really add all the other great grill masters that you have. There's stuff I took from obviously Will and Terry Roan and Matt and really put that together. And really that's the goal, to be consistent so far. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm not there yet. I got a long way to go, but hopefully I'm on my way.
Awesome, Rick.
That's a heck of a journey right there, buddy. I didn't know that was that. And how long have you been? So you just said you started steak last year or so. And has it even been a year yet or not?
July 26th will be really the first year. So when you think about it,
11 months. That's amazing.
It's very amazing.
Congratulations,
you guys hear me
buddy.
now?
Yeah,
we got
can hear
you, brother.
We got you now.
Man.
That is awesome.
We're gonna try again.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, and I forgot to mention, Mike, was ultimately being consistent so I could be on a team, and I have the honor and pleasure to be on Team Mark and Sippy. So thank you, John and Ron.
Wow.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. It was a no-brainer. We were down having a meeting in at the, I don't know what hotel were we in, Rick.
It was the Hilton. It was some Hilton. It was a brand new Hilton hotel
in Fort Worth, right across from the
Home to Suites. Home to
Suites.
Wow.
We had the whole Arcasippy team. It was about 75, 80 people in the lobby down there, and we were having a get together. Rick Manzi goes up upstairs and sees that we're live down there, and he sees there's a party going on downstairs. And here comes Rick and Sue, and they had watched the show. And when he walked up, I knew who he was. It took just a minute, but when I heard the accent, I knew. I knew. And anyway, to make a long story short, it was just like, and me and Rick have talked about this, and me and Ronald too, just like we've known him for 20 years. I mean, he just fits in, peas and carrots, just like the hand in a glove. And so, man, I want to tell you, I'm proud of you, Rick Manzi. You just I mean, that exemplifies exactly. And, you know, I've heard Rolfe Garrett talk about the consistency. Mm-hmm. Practice how you play or something like that. I get all them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Practice how you play.
And here's the deal. Both of you, the reason you're having so much success is because you're doing it. You're not budging. You got your technique down, and you're working the same thing every time. And it works. I promise you it works. Yep. And so my hat's off to both of you. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Well, Rick, that's a great story, and it's always good to hear stories like that and being people successful. And I really appreciate your support, and I appreciate what you've done and shouting out for us for Barbecue Champs. It really helps us a lot, and I do appreciate it. But that's quite a journey in less than a year, man. So next up, Mr. Allan Freeman. Now, this is a really good friend of mine. Me and Allan's been cooking, gosh, I don't know how long, back and forth at competitions. And he is a great IBCA cooker. This is his third year in a row. He just said,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. We can hear you, Allan.
Oh, okay, because it sounded a little broke up on my end, so.
Yeah, it's fading a little bit, Allan. It's locked up.
It's hesitating.
There we go. Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to move closer to the inside. Yeah, because it's breaking up. I can barely hear y'all. 2 seconds.
Okay.
So, Rick, I saw Rolfe just got out again, so we're having a little technical difficulties, Mike. But if you don't mind, I'm going to ask Rick. Rick, let me ask you something. We were asking things last night. I know you were probably tuned into the show last night, but, you know, of course, texture and doneness is really hard right now in the SCA, of course. But, you know, we're seeing a lot of variance in the appearance scores right now. If you could give a tip for everybody out there tonight, not without giving the farm away, about what you would do to kind of make your steak look better and give a little bit of a tip on how to nail your appearance score, what would be one thing that you would tell us to be watching for, or one thing we might do?
Well, John, one thing I certainly do, and you know, I'll tell everybody it's no secret, you still have to cook a steak, but certainly I think a lot of times, particularly for the new cookers, you know, a lot of times we think more is better. And when it comes to seasoning steak and process, and for those who may take your class or Matt's class, it isn't more. I think more will get you in trouble, particularly on a finished side. You know, some people have a finished side, some people leverage both sides in case if things happen. I personally don't. I gamble, and I'm like, this is my finished side. This is the way it's gone in the box. It's up to me to execute, hit all my marks, and do the best. But really, it's about I'd be a little caution. Take some precaution on your finished side, and don't think more is better, particularly with rubs, because I think that could hurt you. That's just, again, my opinion, John. And I know there's diamond and squares. I do diamonds. I don't do squares. I have enough stuff. But honestly, I think really it's how you take care of your finished side, in my opinion. That's only what works for me.
Right, and you know, on the diamond and square deal, I don't think it matters either way as long as whatever you do is executed the best you can. Don't you think so, Mike?
Absolutely. I mean, it's got to look good. That's the main thing. You got to have good straight grill marks, not too dark, not too light, not washed out. That's the key, you know.
Yeah, and John, honestly, I was just looking out of I think the 19 comps I did, my last 12 comps, my appearance is actually a 49.52 on average. So that's I've been blessed. It's the texture. It's the texture. The thing is, you know, that's my lowest score. I'm looking at it. It's a 48.47 on texture. So that's the one that's really my nemesis, so to speak. That's good.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Awesome. Well, Allan, I don't know what happened to Allan. I guess he's trying to come back in. Is
that better for me, guys?
Yeah,
I believe it is, Rolfe.
Yeah. All right. I think you're back on a phone instead of that internet connection, because
actually times... I grabbed a laptop real fast. So.
Okay. Well, that's doing good. All right. So let me see if I can. Let me see if I can bring a barbecue guy. Allan, you there, buddy? Okay, I see him. All right.
Great.
There we go. All right, so we can hear everybody. All right, we had a steak. Let's go to the barbecue. Let's talk to Allan a little bit, then we'll jump over to Rolfe. And all right, Allan. So I know you and I've been competing, man, long time. So you're a great competitor. You've had 3 straight years now in the IBCA top 10. Quite an achievement. I know you just absolutely slayed chicken for a couple, 2 or 3 years. Nobody could touch you. And I know you finished number 1 in chicken before overall. I think you're number 1 in brisket right now, if I recall.
Right now,
and
that's on the bucket list, is to hold on to that brisket.
And have you had a number 1 rib, or has it just been chicken and now the brisket?
It's always been our downfall until we ended up getting a race crew drum. I mean, he talked to me for a year to get on a drum on ribs. Once I put those ribs on a drum, I never looked back. It was just
wow.
Those things are rib cooking machines.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So tell us a little bit about how you got started. How long you been cooking, Allan?
For 16 years, 17
Woo,
years.
Man, you a OG, man. Dad gum, man.
Like a lot of us, those first 5, 6, 7, those were me and about 8 other guys, and it was the party years,
Yeah.
The really good cook that there and go, we're getting their money.
Yeah.
I started out that all my backyard friends would come in and go, I had the best barbecue they ever had. Get into competitions. I did. Guess what? I didn't get out of my chair. I was there going, well, crap, don't they know good barbecue? Then I went, my friends told me it's the best. It's got to be true.
Right.
Then,
yeah, they don't lie, do they?
Yeah, they lie to us.
Yeah.
Then I went and I taste judged. That's the best advice I could give to anybody. I went in, sat down at that table, and go, holy cow. I am so far off the mark. This stuff is freaking hot. And
wow.
The very next week, we made a couple of changes, and boom, we're in the top 10.
There you go.
Of that cook-off.
Right.
That we made it in a top 10. And from there, it's just trying to get your timing down.
Right.
You can come up with flavor profiles, but if you don't hit, I heard him talking about his steak marks. Just getting those timing marks. You don't hit those right, and that does take consistent cooking. Then your product is, if it's off 4 degrees, you just lost the comp.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. So, so you've been cooking 16 years. You got really serious after about 5 or 6. So about the last 10 years, you really buckled down, got serious.
2010, 2012, and I mean, that's when we got our first grand, and then we've never looked back.
I got you. I tell you what,
Man, that's awesome, brother.
And I get that adrenaline rush. You'll see me, my hands start shaking. If I ever lose that, I'll quit.
Yeah.
But my hands start shaking. My knees are going.
Knees get weak.
Your knees get weak. Yeah. Knees get weak. And you start shaking. Yeah.
See, I know all about that. That's happened to me every time I crank up a grill somewhere. Just grilled out back here and had the same thing. So I mean, it's a passion for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you start hearing those numbers called, and it's like, yeah. Oh crap.
Yeah. Or they got all the numbers except the last one. Man alive. Wow.
That excitement's still there. I mean, I just flat lose it. If that ever goes away, then I'll quit.
Well, we ain't gonna let that happen. Vivi ain't gonna let it happen now because her and Suzette are enjoying going out shopping and spending all of our money. I think that was the worst thing I could have done was got her and Suzette together when we was in Irving, Texas, and sent them to stinking Ross. I didn't know Vivian liked Ross, and that was the end of it from that point. So,
dude, we had to get another credit card.
Yeah, we sure did.
We got folks right now that's out here that start, and I guess I don't know. We've got such a society now. Everybody thinks that we all ought to win all the time.
Yeah,
and it ain't going to happen. Number one, it's definitely not going to happen on the SCA circuit. Is it, Rolfe? We know all about that.
Man, it's something.
And when you get them that when they don't win, and I mean we're seeing world class cooks every weekend, and you're going up against the best of the best almost every weekend. People that's took barbecue champs, people that's beat world champions, whatever. you can't go out and compete, and you can compete, but you're not going to win against those folks every week. And so you just want us to get that out, or that will kill you. You got to get to a point that you're going to have fun, cook a steak, cook barbecue, enjoy what you're doing, and work your craft. And if you do that, you're going to have a lot of success and a lot of great times, but you're not going to win every time. And Allan's a testament to that. 16 years, you know all about that, brother.
Well, what has happened now from, 10 years ago? 10 years ago, there weren't classes, or so everybody was secretive, even when SCA first started. It was people would you're not going to get nothing, but you weren't cooking against as many good cooks.
Yes.
Now with classes, both in SCA, barbecue, you've got people coming out shooting guns as soon as they hit their first competition.
Yeah, they do.
They had to go through an 8-year learning curve, and they're coming out like, 3 weeks, and boom.
Here we go. Yeah, that's for sure.
Me and Ronald talk about this all the time.
Right, but I mean, it's raised the level of competition.
Yeah,
it has. Sometimes we'll talk about it and say, hey, people will say, you guys, you and Ronald Burns, Mr. Hotty Toddy himself, y'all are telling all the secrets. Well, look, here's the deal. If we can help somebody get in the ballpark that watches our show, that's exactly what we want. We want people to go out and enjoy it. But here's the deal. We're not going to give the farm away on the show, but we want to help folks get to that point.
Get to the farm.
if you want to get the farm, you got to get on the barbecue champs class, and you can get the farm there. So that's kind of you can get the farm there. But the fun part of this thing is what Rick Manzi said a while ago. It's learning this thing. It's out there competing and watching yourself go up week after week. May slide back a little bit this week, but next week let's go get them again. If we won every weekend, it wouldn't be fun anymore. So anyway, we're striving, and I'm just like everybody else. I'm out there struggling every week, trying to hit my marks and do the best I can. But one thing's for sure, I'm gonna have a good time while I do it, and that's the thing about it.
You do have a good time.
That's it, sir. Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, Rolfe, let's get you in here now.
Let's give me a try.
We got good internet, and you ain't fading out, so we good.
Fantastic.
So
the only thing that's not consistent is my internet. So.
Well, hey, right now it's consistent. It's working great. So, all right, Rolfe, tell me a little. How long you been cooking, Rolfe? It sounds like you may have come from the barbecue, and then we came from the
barbecue side. We cooked KCBS for about six years. We had a fair amount of success. We did what we wanted to do. We saw all the good stuff, and then when we switched over to SCA, there was just no looking back. I tell everybody that SCA now is what KCBS was 15, 20 years ago. The family, everyone's together. People are tasting each other's foods. People are sharing. It is just a fantastic weekend. And I say it every weekend when I see my friends. It's such a good time.
Wow. So
yeah, and
how long have you been cooking steak, Rolfe?
This is our fourth year.
Okay, it's your fourth year.
So I caught the bug. I actually was fortunate enough to get my first gold ticket the third time I ever cooked. After that, and we took everything we did from barbecue over to SCA. We were known as being ridiculously prepared and consistent in timelines, and we've brought that over with us, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I tell you what, you have been on absolute fire here in the last, I know it, at least 2 months. I don't know how many first place or top threes you've had, but it's a long list.
We've had a few, and again, it's so fortunate. I think I'm more excited to see Robin and Rodney and Rick, and that's the cool thing about SCA. We root for each other. Yeah. We literally, there is no that guy or this guy. It's always I get the same excitement when I see Rick Manzi jump up in the air as if it was my number that got called.
Well, Rolfe, let's face it, Rolfe. If your crowd can't get behind you and shout for you when you're doing well, you need to find another freaking crowd, and that's the way it is.
Yeah,
and that's the truth. And I'm gonna tell you something: the SCA family really is a family.
It truly is.
It's an awesome thing. I just want to say, Rolfe, the first time I ever laid eyes on you somewhere, I thought I knew you. But I didn't.
We were down. I was the shed.
But you saw me. I was just scratching my head. I thought I knew this guy from somewhere. But I went by y'all 2 or 3 times and we talked and visited a little bit. Then I saw you on Jake Harshman and Dave Travis, which they've got an awesome show. Comes on right before this one at 6 o'clock. Q Chat, you and Robin
Yes, sir.
and Rodney were on there and got to visit. And I knew after hearing you talk just a few minutes, these folks are serious. These folks, and so I started watching the names, and man, you guys, been hitting lights out. And I want to tell you, one of the most consistent cooks. Some of the East Coast guys up there just knocking it out of the park. And so my hat's off to you guys. But awesome job, my friend. I tell you, I look up to you. I want you to know that.
Oh my goodness. Well, we one thing we've believed in barbecue and up through now is we believe in giving back to the fellow cooks. And people always ask us about teaching classes and things. And we always said, we teach a class every Friday. All you got to do is stop by. We'll tell you everything that we tell you everything, because we want the better the cooks, the better the competition, the better the contest, the longer this thing runs. And we just enjoy it to no end. And,
That's
competing
awesome.
against Robin and Rodney, we never thought that would happen. And now it's just so much fun.
Yeah, it really is.
Y'all were talking about barbecue, the family behind it. SCA seems like it's really strong. Mike knows, and I'm not going to go into details, but I went through a little deal a couple of years ago, and I really found out just how strong, barbecue family, SCA.
Yes.
It was so many. You catch yourself in a bind. Watch how many people will come up and help you out.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
It's
100%.
unbelievable. The
It
love
is.
Awesome,
and
brother.
everything that everybody has for you, it's unbelievable.
Yep, 100%. I mean, we've got a really good barbecue family in the IBCA with all the cooks that tend regular. We've got certain guys that we're always cooking with. I've got a great bunch of guys with Joshua and Benji and Nick and Scotty and Anna. And I mean, we're just kind of all of us to get this little group. Now we got Gary Cartwright. He's out fixing to moving to Ohio. His job transferred. But it's just such a good barbecue family. And then, every once in a while we'll get Allan, because he's down in Houston area. And he'll come up north. He'll get up here to the north part of or Dallas area, the Fort Worth area, and that area. And I get the chance to cook against Allan sometimes. And it's just great having family like that to be able to get together. So,
Or even helped each other out a couple of times.
oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We were at, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Manzi, the Hain family was there, and they had 6 or 8 of them all cooking against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, from dad down to the in-laws, the outlaws, and the whole bunch of them were all cooking against each other, just having a ball. And you just can't duplicate that in any other thing. That your 12-year-old daughter can compete against you. Your 80-year-old grandfather can compete against you. And every one of them is ready to cut your throat.
Hey, if anybody out there's got a question for any of our cookers, please let us know, and we'll ask them. Allan, what's one pro tip that you think will help the barbecue people that are out there cooking? Give me a pro tip.
Man, I've hit pretty much all my bucket list items. So just this past weekend, we've been telling a couple of cooks, new cooks especially, you want to know what we're doing? Come inside my trailer. It's just, I'll give you anything that's going to help you get better and see somebody else grow in the sport. But the biggest tip I could tell somebody is, man, it's not always what you think is good. Your taste buds not rule. It's the hardest thing you can teach somebody that is like, no, this is good. No, the majority did not think so.
Yeah.
So it's learning how to cook what you may not like.
Yeah.
Or it's not, to where it may be too much salt for you, but that's what it takes to win. That's it.
That's 100. That's a great
Very good
tip right there.
Best tip would be consistency and timing. You can come up with a good recipe, but if you don't hit those marks, it's just a hair too tough or a hair too tender, you're toast.
Yeah, you're 100% right. So here's a question, and I'm assuming this is going to be for steak. What is the best way to ensure edge-to-edge medium? Who wants to take a stab at it?
Oh, I'll go with that. It's make sure that you have a good level spot of temperature on your cooker. When we look at we cook on a PK, and we look at a PK that we have 12 zones to cook in. right? That's how we look, 4, 4, 4 down, and we try to find the most level spot we can. And sometimes you have to turn that steak a little bit to keep it over a little bit of a hotter spot. So that's probably the easiest way to do it. And if you have to rack it, turn it on the rack.
I got you. Okay, cool.
Can
Well,
I give
yeah.
an answer on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a little bit. Control what you can control, of course, on anything you do. If you'll slow it down just a little bit, slower. Anytime you can slow the pace down, it don't matter if you're in basketball, football, whatever you're trying to do, slow it down.
Yeah.
And quit trying to cook a steak in 10 minutes or 6 minutes or 7 minutes. Get the thing slowed down. Make sure your coals are the same distance from the bottom of your grates every time, so your radiant heat is the same, and make sure you've got them completely level all the way across. I'm so anal about that. There's sometimes I put a measuring stick down there to make sure I've got it where I need it. I've got now that I've got Hasty Bakes, I've got it marked where on the chain of the Ranger and on my exactly the same way, same number of pieces of charcoal every time. Mm-hmm. Consistency over and over and over again, and make sure your radiant heat is going to be the same each time in a good grill weight, and keep your fire consistent. I think that helps slow it down a little bit.
Very good.
Yeah,
I can see how that'd be a lot harder because it is a lot different from barbecue. It is fast paced.
It is.
Right. Yeah.
Done and over in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. You start and throw the steak on in 15, 20 minutes. You're completely done. So
yeah.
Rick wants your sauce. This is the guy that's been absolutely tearing it up. He took Corey, Mike, and Lee Hickle's class, and Rick has just been on absolute fire. I done lost count of how many grand champions and reserve grand champions he's had in his last 12 cook-offs, but it's a bunch. It's like 6 or 7 grands and 2 or 3 reserve grands, and man, he has just been absolutely tearing it up. So, all right, so we've got another question. This is from Jeremy. As a promoter, what would you like to see offered at SEA events to keep you coming back every time to make it a destination cook-off? Wow.
I think
Good steaks.
There you go.
Good steaks.
Jeremy, exactly what you did this weekend will win every time. It couldn't have been any better. One thing that I like to see is a concession stand somewhere, so you can at least get a little lunch every now and then, or a food truck or something. But see, they fed us over there, and just everything was just perfect at that contest, Jeremy. So, but I do want to say that I had to make sure that was Jeremy James, and that he's the one that put the contest on in Searcy this weekend. Done an outstanding job.
Yeah, that's awesome. Allan, what do you think? And when you go to a competition, I've got my favorites. I mean, Minden is one of them just because of the venue there, and it's right on Main Street. They always cater to us. They take care of us. They make sure. What do you like to see in barbecue promoting and stuff like that? What draws you in?
It's when they're really looking after after the cooks. It's not so much concentrating on what their profit margins may or may not be. That's great, but once we're there, it's keeping those cooks happy because you want them back the next year.
Right.
So anything that they can think of, and it's the little things, the breakfast. Y'all don't stay overnight like we do. So the breakfast in the morning, it's really cool. The little goodie bags that come in because we're always there for 2 days. So it's the little special attention, and it doesn't have to be much. You just feel appreciated.
Feel appreciated. What about you, Rick? What do you think?
Yeah, I concur with everybody. I think it starts off with steaks, and then certainly some amenities, right? I mean, there are some significant others who may not like to use porta potties, but I think steaks is really the biggest thing, right? You think about it too, is you have teams travel all over. Even up in our area, we had Cheryl and Andy Williams come to West Virginia, but really to have the steaks, I think is probably the biggest letdown if you don't have the right quality.
Yeah.
I forgot. Right there. Steaks are furnished for y'all, aren't they?
That's right.
Yeah. That's right.
I bring my own meat. So.
Yeah. We don't have that problem. I got my meat. It's different. I mean, they never know what they're going to get. So, and that's the biggest thing.
We are so blessed up here in the Northeast. It's just we see great steaks every single weekend, and I encourage all of my friends from
awesome,
South
brother.
to come up, because Rick will tell you, we go lots of places and cook a lot, but from a consistency level, these guys up here in Pennsylvania, it is, I don't know how they do it. It is, you never get a bad one.
Yep.
That's the truth, Rolfe. Nearly 19 competitions. I think there was one. It wasn't in Pennsylvania. That was a little bit disappointing. But truthfully, I think we're actually spoiled, Rolfe, quite honestly.
We very much are. Very much.
Wow.
Hey, Mike, I bet everybody gets a different answer on this question.
Yeah, here we go. What temp do you like your grill grates? Preferably on the PK, but any grill works. I bet this is all over the place.
620 to 650.
All right, John?
Thank you, Rolfe.
525.
525. All right, Rick?
580 to 620.
580 to 620. Okay, for my chicken, I like my chicken going on at about 550 degrees. Alan, what about you? I don't cook no steak all the time, but I have been known to throw a chicken on a grill grate.
Chicken to go on a grill grate, back in the smoker, back on the grill grate. So
it's all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't think we helped anybody there.
No.
Yeah.
Just remember
pick a number in the middle, Joe. That's the best thing. Pick a number in the middle. 525 to 625. Hit the middle. You're gonna be pretty dang close.
But Mike, I think we would all agree, and that's the one thing around consistency, that when you take your classes in particular and all the grill masters that you have, my local mentor, Ralph Garrett, is practice like you play. So, you could ask me what temperature I want, but what temperature is your steak go on? What temperature is it outside? Is it humid?
A lot.
So again, I'm probably the only nerd. I take so many notes. Every practice cook, air temp, steak thickness, spinalis, tri-hot, marble. I mean, you could go on and on. So, to say what temp do you want, I know that everything, control what you control, devil's in the details. And I could tell you every cook, I try to have my steak temp at the consistent temp that I cook, my grate temp, and then depending on the weather, certainly that'll play a little bit of an influence. So I know it was kind of all over the board, but I think we all look at it from a different perspective, John, Rolfe, and myself, rather than just throwing this.
You have to look at the circumstances around your grate temperature. Yep. It's just like going up somebody, Rolfe, and asking them, say, "Hey, how far did you take that steak?" It's going to be different for one person. And me and Ronald was talking about this weekend. We quit asking. The way to figure it out on your grill, the way you cook, is you get out there and practice and figure it out. And the same thing, I like to slow mine down just a little bit because I can control it better. I don't get 10 or 12 degrees rise out of my steaks. I get 3 at the most. I don't get 10 degrees. I don't get 12 degrees. I know some folks that's getting 10 degrees rise. But I don't, and I've controlled it and I ease it up.
Yeah.
525. But you have to adjust your flip times when you're doing a lower temp. So all comes into play.
We like to say that our process is so consistent. The only two things that change week in and week out are the weather and the meat.
Yeah,
and that's
awesome.
the process. That's how tight our process is.
Yeah,
and so the only two things we have to adjust for is the weather and what kind of meat we're working with. So,
and there's no right or wrong way. It's what works for you.
Yep,
that's the thing.
Yes, James, I do, and they're yellow.
yes, bright fluorescent yellow. The shirt, the socks, the shoes. And Jason Sagmiller is orange. So when you get them two together, man, you got to show.
Highlighter.
Yeah, you are the highlight. So I guess I need to get some neon red stuff because I'm all about the red. So.
But I agree with you on the temps. Even like when you start getting into us, completely different. But like going into my pit, you have to find me. I cook hot and fast. But it took several attempts to find that sweet spot. To where for me, that's where it needed to be, to where it came out right every time.
Yeah, it's a big difference. Yep,
that's awesome.
Yep. And see,
somebody was like that sweet spot, so it's 285.
285. Yep. Oh, let's see here, man. Here's gonna be another one. All right, what temps do you like the steaks before they go on? This is going to be all over the board. That
Come
may
on,
be top
Jake,
secret.
Jake, you-
That may
Jake, you-
that may be
you've
that may be
taken-
top secret stuff. You've taken
Jake,
some
you've
classes,
taken
I'm
John's
sure.
class. You know what temperature John wants to steak at.
I'm going to zip my lip on this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would just zip it. Yeah.
But I can tell you one thing: mine hadn't changed in 4 years, so I hadn't changed anything. I know some people are putting them on at over 100 degrees right now. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to look good to cook. Yeah, write it down. You have to look good to cook good. Well, that man right there, Mr. Allan, man, he be styling. I mean, shirt, socks, shoe. I was like, where the heck did you go get fluorescent yellow shoes at? I don't.
My wife went to Nike and had them made for Father's Day one year.
Yeah.
Robles sees the neon yellow hat, neon yellow shirt, neon yellow shoes, socks. Then Fred comes in and tagged us with the highlighter team.
Oh my gosh,
We
that
look like
is
a
funny.
giant highlighter. Us and Race Crew Barbecue. You know, the orange
is-
and the yellow. So we have a blast with it.
That's funny. Oh man, alive! Well, I tell you what, guys, it has certainly been great to have y'all on.
Jake
Alan,
was stirring the pot a little bit.
yeah,
wasn't
he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Mike, ask Jake how many charcoals he puts in his chimney.
Hey, Jake, how many charcoals do you put in your chimney?
If you don't know the number, then you're not consistent, Jake.
Oh goodness. Here we go. Alan, James wants to know, is there going to be a sock comp at Lake Merville this weekend? I saw James's socks in the picture this weekend. They were quite yeah.
Those are the dorkiest looking socks I've ever seen in my life.
They're the
Dorkiest looking
dorky tube socks. I mean, the spiraling around. I'm like, man, them things came out of the 1960s. So, well, I tell you what, guys, I really do appreciate y'all being on. Man, hours done went by. I mean, we were just getting into it.
Wow.
So, but Alan, I first want to start with you, man. You're a dear friend. I'm very happy with the success. I know you really wanted a couple years back to get that top 10. That was one thing that was always eluding you, and you got a top 10 finish. I think we were all just so happy and proud of what you had accomplished. And then you came back again and did it again last year. And then in this year, I don't even think you was trying, but you did such a well job of cooking that, you know, you're just a very, very consistent cook. You're very humble.
You appreciate it.
And man, just
competition's so stiff.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm glad. Now I know Barbecue Champs has helped a ton of people in the barbecue and the steak stuff, but I think it's making and the reason I did it was to make the barbecue grow again. It sounded like it was just dying, and I don't know what was going on with steaks so much, but I know there's just a lot of people. It's the same people winning all the time, and that is not inducive of growing the sport. But, you know, it's growing. It's great. We've got a wonderful family in barbecue. There's a wonderful family in steak. And, Alan, man, I'm going to applaud you, man, for 3 years in a row being in the top 10. Congratulations.
Yes, sir, Alan. Congratulations.
Yeah. Rick, I want to thank you, too, man. You have truly been an inspiration for a lot of people, I'm sure, coming into the steak community. For less than 1 year, 11 months worth of cooking, and the record that you have accomplished and put together and getting your golden ticket and could go to World last year and already got it for this year. Congratulations to you and Susan and what you've accomplished. Thank you, man, for being such a huge spokesperson for Barbecue Champs. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. You don't understand how much it helps us, so thank you.
Great guy.
Yes, sir, brother. Thank you, man.
Yeah. And Rolfe, man, I tell you what, I didn't know you was a legend like you was until I got you on the show. So you have been absolutely crushing it. I've been following you as well, and you have just done an amazing job with what you've done in barbecue and then to transition over into steak. Man, that's just awesome to be able to do that. And congratulations to you. I know you've already got plenty of golden tickets stacked up and keep on passing them down. So really do appreciate that as well. So
to all of my other cook friends out there, remember when crap goes wrong like this thing did for me earlier, Just hang in there tight.
You know,
Figure it out. Get on your way.
That's
don't
it.
give up on
That's
it.
it. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Ever since he switched over, man, he's been rocking and rolling.
That's
So, oh, goodness gracious. Well, I tell you what, I've had a lot of fun. Mr. John Lindsey, congratulations, buddy, on your big weekend. I know that one means a lot to you being right there in your state.
It does.
And to grand champion that one, awesome job.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your new rub, this Cajun Bandit. My gosh, you sent me some of that. That stuff is lights out good.
Thank
so
you know,
it is. It's
you never
amazing.
know. You never know how something like that's going. And that was something that I never dreamed would have. You know, I'm not a Cajun, but I know
Right.
what Cajun is supposed to taste like, and
Right.
we worked on that for a long time. And it has
Hey,
been
Mike, you're
just
going to have to hook me up.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's good. You know, first thought I was like, man, I might need to slip this on some chicken. So, shh, don't tell nobody. I ain't gonna tell nobody, John. I gotta have something that's different.
Hey, go with it, man. Give it a shot. It might have been on some chicken this weekend.
Hook me up, dude.
Hook you up.
I do want to say one thing, if I can have 10 seconds here.
Yeah, go ahead.
First
By
of all,
man.
all of you guys on here, I just look up to every one of you. Allan, nice to see you tonight. Rolfe, Garrett, the epitome of consistency. Man, thank you for what you bring to this sport. And Rick Manzi, since I met you, my friend, you've been more of an encouragement to me than I could have ever been to you. But I want you to know I appreciate you and Miss Susan. Mike Steele, you don't get enough credit. You're one of the best barbecue cooks out there in the world, Louisiana, bar none. But let me tell you what you've done. You've been able to take something that people needed and give a little enjoyment when they needed it with this barbecue champs thing, and you did it selflessly. And I just want to tell you, my hat's off to you, my friend, and thank you for allowing me to be co-hosting with you tonight. Thank you.
buddy.
He was a visionary. He saw something good and something missing and jumped all over it.
It was awesome.
A lot of work and a lot of time, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and not knowing if I was going to ever get my money back, but you know, we did it, and it was expensive. I mean, it's people don't realize it's about $7,000 for me to film a barbecue pitmaster class.
Wow.
By the time I do the filming, the editing, and the web page for the cooks, and it's about $4,500 to do a steak class. So I had a lot of initial investment in this at the very, very beginning, and man, I mean, because I had 5 classes come.
What it could be.
Yeah, I just, you know, the whole thing is I just didn't, you know, my whole thinking was if you build it, you know, hopefully they'll come. And, you know, I had some great guys, and I had a lot of people that was doing marketing and help, you know, networking through sharing. And that right now is just so important because Facebook has just absolutely put the screws to us. Not Facebook, but Apple had this new update on their app that came out in the second weekend in May last month. And it's just destroyed the way of how ads used to do for us. I mean, it's literally cut our business in half from last month to this month. And it's just, you know, we knew it was coming. Apple kept saying, we're going to make this cut. We're going to make this deal. So the ads no longer follow people that have iPhones. And I knew it was coming, but, you know, you just don't know how bad it's going to be until it hit. And we've watched about half our classes. We've lost about half the sales just for this past month. But, you know, I'm a fighter. I mean, I've already put things in place. You're fixing to see a whole new website design for Barbecue Champs. We hope to roll this thing out here any day. It's going to have a completely different look, different feel. Another $3,000 just to update the website. Spend another $7,000 just to learn how to get in and do the YouTube ads and stuff like that. We're going to see if that market will pick up. It's just a lot of money. And but you know, it wasn't really about the money. It was about helping the sport grow. No. Did I want to make some? Yeah, I sure didn't want to lose the thousands of dollars that I had tied up in videos. Because man, I tell you what, for that first 8 months, and we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary. It was the 28th of June in 2019 that we launched it. So we're 6 days away from our 2 year anniversary, and we had a lot of classes that rolled out initially. And, man, I was looking at that deep pile and I was like, whoo, am I going to ever get this back? But, you know, it came and it took a long time, and we finally got over the hump, and it's been a great ride. And people like, you know, Rick and Rolfe and all you guys and John, thank you. And I appreciate everything that y'all have done to help it. to me, it's what it's all about. And I'm just enjoying watching people go out and doing well and winning and building those relationships. Because I always close out our classes, barbecue's about family, friends, and loved ones, and getting together and having fun. And to me, that's what it's all about. So,
I'll tell you how.
Allan?
Go ahead, Allan.
When am I, my class that we had discussed? When are we?
Yeah, we're still working on that. Allan's going to show you foolproof ways that when you drop stuff, ribs in the dirt, how to recover. It was going to be a bloopers. We talked about this 2 years ago. It was going to be a bloopers video of how to what video and how to correct it and still get top 10 calls. So anyway.
Mike, there's two things. I'll tell you how important Barbecue Champs is to me. Two defining moments, I'd say, in my life. One of them is when Mr. Hotty Toddy Ronald Burns walked up to me and said, "Hey, you want to do a few videos?" and you never know how it's going to work. And the other one is when I got the call to come on board with Barbecue Champs Academy and be able to be a part of I call it a fraternity, a group of cooks that have the same mindset that we're able to get on and tell other people how to have fun and give some techniques to get them in the ballpark and teach them something that'll stick with them the rest of their life. It's important to me, and my hat's off to you. Thank you for it.
Thank you.
So,
well, guys, I appreciate so much y'all being on our show. We'll have another big lineup next week. We got a lot of steak cookers and barbecue cookers we're going to mix it up with barbecue and steak, keep everybody's interest, because I think it's great for the barbecue guys to hear about the steak and the steak guys to hear about the barbecue.
Absolutely.
And let's just continue to grow this thing. That's why I'm trying to do it. So
who takes the IBCA deal? The last one's this weekend. So
yeah, that's it.
That's it. You'll do one.
So anyway, well, thank you guys so much for being here, and I appreciate once again from the bottom of my heart, everybody.
Thank you guys. Thank everybody.
Being on our show tonight. We really appreciate our audience. We've had just a number of comments. I hope I got to everybody. We always try to get to as many comments we can, answer your questions. We have a lot of fun with these shows, and as I always close out my classes, barbecue's about family, friends, and loved ones. And if you're not doing steak cook-offs or barbecue, certainly consider doing it, because there's nothing like that family. As we say when we do our classes, have a lot of fun and smoke on.